Have you ever thought about how terrifying a simple machine can be if you've never seen it before? I was reading this incredible story recently about a young boy, 4 or 5 years old, taking a train from rural Mississippi to Chicago.
That's a massive culture shock right there. Going from the quiet of a farm to the roar of the big city.
Exactly, but the thing that really shook him wasn't the skyscrapers or the crowds, it was the stairs.
The stairs?
The moving stairs, the escalator.
Oh, wow. Yeah, if you think about it, if you grew up on a farm where the only stairs you knew were the wooden steps at the local church or the clinic, seeing a metal staircase that moves on its own, that must have looked like a monster.
That's exactly how he described it. He said it looked like an eternity of steps. It wasn't just a convenience to him, it was a threat. And I love this image. He's standing at the bottom, absolutely paralyzed. But his mother, she just steps right on,
Of course she does. She's got places to be.
right? She's riding up and she turns back, extends her hand, and gives him that look. You know the look,
The don't make a scene look.
a mix of that and pure love. She's smiling, hand out, and she says, "You better come on, boy, or I'm going to have to leave you down there."
That is such a powerful moment. It's a small memory, right? A kid on an escalator. But metaphorically, that is huge. It's the ultimatum life gives us every single day.
How so?
Well, think about where the boy is standing. He's at the bottom. It's solid ground. It's not moving. It's safe. It's his comfort zone. But the problem with the bottom of the escalator is that it doesn't go anywhere. Life, the mother, the opportunity, the growth is moving upward. And you have this split second to decide, do I stay where it's safe and stagnant, or do I step onto this moving, scary thing?
And that transition is the hardest part, the physical act of lifting your foot. The story mentions he eventually did it, but he walked onto it like he was walking a tightrope, arms out, terrified.
Which is hilarious imagery, but also so honest. He didn't step on with confidence. He stepped on with shaking knees. And I think that's where we get the definition of courage wrong. We think courage means you aren't scared.
Right? We wait for the fear to go away before we move.
Exactly. We think once I'm not afraid of the doctor, I'll make the appointment. Or once I'm not afraid of rejection, I'll share my art. But this kid proves that courage is actually moving forward while you are trembling. It's stepping on the escalator even though you think it might eat you.
It reminds me of that phrase, trust the motion.
Trust the motion and God's notion. That's the core of it.
Break that down for me. What does that actually look like in practice? Because it's easy to say trust the plan, but when you're facing a medical diagnosis or a career change or a broken relationship, that motion feels chaotic.
It does. But look at the boy's logic. He didn't trust the machine. He didn't know how the gears worked. He trusted the person at the top. He trusted his mother's hand. He knew she wouldn't steer him wrong. When we talk about God's notion or a divine plan, it's about realizing you don't need the roadmap. You just need to take the step. Your job is the movement. The guidance happens after you move.
That's a really critical distinction. I think a lot of us are waiting for the map before we start the car.
Precisely. We want the guarantee. We want to know that if we forgive that person who hurt us, we won't get hurt again. We want to know that if we publish that book, people will love it. But faith doesn't work like that. Faith is the escalator. You step on, and the path unfolds as you rise.
You mentioned forgiveness just now. That feels like a big escalator moment for a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Holding on to anger, that's standing at the bottom of the stairs. It feels powerful, right? You think I'm holding this grudge to protect myself, but really you're just holding yourself hostage. You're stuck on the ground floor while your spiritual and emotional health is trying to invite you up to a higher level,
It's the fear that letting go means losing.
right? But actually letting go is the only way to elevate.
What about the dreamers? The text touched on people who have these hidden gifts, singing, writing, painting, but they keep them locked in a closet.
That's the tragedy of the bench warmer.
The bench warmer?
Yeah, you can sit on the bench during the game. It's comfortable. You won't miss a shot. You won't get fouled. You won't look stupid. But you also aren't playing the game. You aren't in the mix.
And you definitely can't score from the bench.
Exactly. There are so many people who have this incredible potential to bless others, to inspire people, but they are terrified of missing the shot. So they don't take it. The message here is get in the game. Take the shot. If you miss, okay, God grabs the rebound, tosses it back to you, and says, shoot again.
I love that. The idea that failure isn't final is just part of the practice. But let's go back to that feeling of the boy. He felt like he was forced to leap from his farm boy comfort zone. Do you think we sometimes need that push?
I think we almost always need that push. Rarely do humans choose growth voluntarily if comfort is an option. Usually it's a crisis or a necessity or a voice we trust saying, come on, or you're getting left behind.
It's interesting because the mother was smiling. She wasn't angry. She knew he was about to grow. She knew that once he got to the top, he'd realize the fear was unfounded.
That's the retrospective view of faith. When you look back at the things that scared you 5 years ago, they usually look small now. The stairs don't look like an eternity anymore, they just look like a ride. But you can't get that perspective until you reach the top. You have to go through the terror to get to the triumph.
So, for someone listening right now who is standing at the bottom of their own escalator, maybe it's a health issue they've been ignoring or a spiritual disconnect because of a bad past experience at church, what is the first step?
Self reflection. You have to look in the mirror and ask, why am I standing still? Is it fear? Is it pride? And then you have to stop overthinking the mechanics of the stairs. Just look at the hand extended to you,
The hand is always there.
even if you've pulled away. That's the beautiful part of the story. The boy pulled away in panic initially, but the mother's hand stayed out. She didn't retract it. The invitation to move up is always open. You just have to be willing to be uncomfortable for a minute.
Uncomfortable for a minute. That's the price of admission for a better life.
It is. And remember Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous. It's a command, not a suggestion. But the promise attached to it is, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. You aren't riding the escalator alone.
That changes the whole dynamic. If you're not alone, the scary machine becomes manageable.
Exactly. You can walk that tightrope. You can stretch your faith. And honestly, doing something scary, something that shuts the mouth of your fear, is the most liberating feeling in the world.
It really is. It's like once you take that step, the momentum takes over.
And before you know it, you're at the top, looking down, wondering why you waited so long at the bottom.
So the takeaway is don't just talk about faith, walk in it.
Step on the escalator, trust the motion, and see what's waiting for you on the next level.
I think that's the perfect place to leave it. To everyone listening, whatever your escalator is today, whatever step you've been dreading, take it.
See you at the top.
Have a powerful, blessed day, everyone.